Welcome back to the booth for Scandinavian Open 4 here in Stockholm.
We're heading into the final round of Swiss, after which there will be a cut to top 8. So I believe we're covering the last players that can't make a clean draw into top 8. So these players are actually playing for top 8, I believe. Anders Gotfredsen versus Simon Jansson.
I think we might have had someone on the stream today. I didn't take notes. Too bad.
Alright, so I see Anders here playing an Absan list. Notably, he has End Hostilities in his pool. I believe he also has a Siege Rhino as well as Absan Charm, Armament Core. So quite a strong Absan list here. His mana doesn't seem to be quite as impressive. He's playing only a single. Let's see. Right, so he has three different, one Triland and two Blossoming Sands, as well as an Absan banner to help fix his mana in the main. Alright, so game underway here. We see Typhoid Rats, Jeskai Student, and turn 3 banner triggering the prowess of the Jeskai Student getting in for 2, versus only the Morph of Simon Jansson.
Simon seemed to have some sort of 4-color list, not playing red, and he's splashing green, and mostly it's a white deck.
Yeah, the no red control is something we've been seeing quite a lot of in this weekend, or rather over the course of the day.
He has some spicy cards. He has Siege Unwritten.
Oh, okay.
Which he has some ways of trigger the ferocity, which can be really good.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't think that card is significantly more powerful than some of the other 6 drops, for example, which we've been discussing earlier. You kind of need Ferocious for it to get that strong. So we see a very nice curve out here. 1, 2, 3, 4 from Anders. Obviously, the 3-drop a banner there.
So banner.
Yeah. As we've seen here, his cards are very powerful, but his mana fixing is slightly subpar. So I like playing the banner here. Obviously, he's not representing the End Hostilities which we see in this list from this curve out.
No, that would be pretty foolish, I would say.
So 2 morphs from Simon Jansson here. We don't really know what either of those cards are. So can we see what's in their hands?
Let's see.
So that's a Hunt a week, which is actually going off here. Jeskai Student both getting the +1/+1 counter, as well as the +1/+1 from the Prowess trigger, killing the Glacial Stalker. Did he have the blue mana to flip it up?
I don't think he does.
No.
Yeah, right. I see.
No, that's
yeah. I don't see blue.
So he just has Absan mana available to him right now.
Well, that's usually the raw. Well, the problem with these kind of decks, they usually, as I said, the mana fixing is not.
Yeah.
It is something very good, but it's kind of hard to get it. And
but the prevalence of morphs here, we see a Glacial Stalker, a card that he otherwise would be stuck in his hand, just hitting the board in somewhat of a timely fashion. So
I think he picked up a Bitter Revelation.
Okay, yeah. So land go here. So either we're gonna see an unflipped morphs, or perhaps does he have a Channel Harm in his list? I can't quite see what is in his list.
I think he has a Channel Harm. No, he has 2 Sandblasts.
2 Sandblasts, it's very relevant here. And if you're Anders, I don't think you attack into all this open mana. Representing both Sandblast, Channel Harm, as well as the onboard of flipping up a morph. Is that going to be an Elephant? Will Loxodon? Yeah, absolutely. So 6 mana for flipping up the 6/7. That's just massive. Unfortunately,
Siege Unwritten is really good at this position, I would say.
Unfortunately, it doesn't tussle very well with Typhoid Rats. So again, the power of the 1 mana creature holding back the board here. So bitter Revelation, digging 4 deep, and seeing as how he's already at 6 mana, I don't think he will be keeping many mana sources. So 2 swamps hitting the bin. He takes two more damage. I can unfortunately not quite see what cards he kept there.
You can't use them anyway. But I think he take a land maybe, and.
Well, he in that case he flipped 3 of them.
Maybe
he left 2 swamps in the bin. But as we said earlier, he didn't have his access to his blue mana, so that could be some.
Which seems to be kind of. I don't think he has any more blue cards in his hand, but he plays some sorts, a lot of blue. He plays maybe 2 or 3 cards. He plays 3 blue cards, straight blue cards.
Yeah.
Glacier Stalker, the aerials, and a treasure cruise.
All right, so so it's Splashing Brew for treasure cruise and some other. The morph obviously just a morph playable fills out the curve with the occasional upside of being able to flip it up, and the
he only has a dual land for.
Oh, okay.
Or tap land.
Only a single source?
No, I think he has a Tranquil Cove and
Thornwood Falls.
Yeah, Falls. So it's two sources.
So 2 sources.
Maybe he has some more sources
for a 3-card splash. Tranquil Cove as well.
Yeah, so, he has. Yes.
So 3 sources. It's still pushing it a bit. I'd like perhaps another blue source for 2-card splash, but the cards are certainly powerful enough.
See, that is a Reach for Shadows.
Yeah, I believe that's a Reach of Shadows. On the other side, we have a Smite the Monstrous, which matches up very well against Elephant. I can't quite see the other cards, but we also see Anders here just outlasting his cards every turn to make sure that his 2/5 eventually grows into something that's strong enough.
Right?
Yes, so there's a Temur Sabertooth, one of the 4 premium uncommons of the Fate of Fortune draft.
Do you smite in response here?
I think you actually do.
I think you do.
Because once that card actually hits the table, getting rid of the elephant will be very difficult. Oh, so they're just making sure that the Sabertooth is still in the stack.
I was a little too excited to play that. We see a Sandblast in his hand and Plains as well. Plains. Still no blue mana?
No, it doesn't seem like it, but also...
But he doesn't have any blue cards in his hand.
No, that's a Battle Brawler. So that's currently the 2/2. Just for 2, just a bear.
So red or white permanent?
Yes, if you control a red or white permanent, it gets +1/+0 and first strike. Obviously, a 3/2 first striker for 2 mana is absolutely fantastic, but in a list like this, which seems to be playing mostly green permanents, I think it's lacking a bit in in that department. So we have a Dragon Bell Monk on the other side, and here we go, attacks with both of the creatures that are able to tussle well with the Temur Sabertooth. So are we going to see a Sandblast here? Sandblast on the rats, perhaps, because it certainly does not kill the Saltroll Patrol. He also, so I think we're going to see a Sandblast, and then an untap and Reach of Shadows for the Sandblast, Saltroll Patrol. Yes.
Yeah. I like that play as well.
Yeah, and then the Temur Sabertooth should be able to take control over the board.
Yeah.
Oh, is that another Hunt the Weak? Oh, so now once he's out of mana, just 1 green mana available, and unfortunately no Become Amends available. So
well, he has to bounce another creature.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's no trick in the format that can save his creature there. So. The patience works off. Anders had the play available to him to doing that pre-combat and making sure he got through for more damage, but he made the disciplined choice of waiting until his opponent tapped out for a trick, or in this case, a removal spell. So here we see the 2/2 lifelinker. Probably we're going to see a Reach of Shadows on the Saltroll Patrol next turn. But even then, the 2/2 does not, even with the Prowess Trigger, it doesn't tussle well with the Jeskai Student once it has 2+1/+1 counters. Oh, and that's a Shamanic Revelation. And he has 2 creatures with power 4 or more right now. Well, once he triggers Prowess on the Jeskai Student. So gain 8 life, draw 2 cards is not too shabby.
Not at all.
Obviously, it would probably prompt a response from Simon.
Simon has a Palette Siege.
Oh.
Not in hand, but he has it in deck.
Oh, yeah, that can be quite effective.
Yeah.
So here we see just the attack. Is that a Rotting Mastodon? Yes, he does have. Anders does have a Rotting Mastodon in his main deck. So here we go, Reach of Shadows on the larger creature, and then we're gonna see that's an Armament Core as well. So
Armament Core being really good.
Yeah, absolutely, it's a very, very strong card. So Anders just putting up massive amounts of toughness on the board here. And eventually he'll probably be able to grind through gaining probably 2 or 3 cards off the Shamanic Revelation, as well as buffering his own already healthy life total. So I think Simon is quite far behind here. So morph number 3 from Simon here. Can we try to figure out what morphs does he have that he hasn't played?
It might be a Pine Walker. I think it's Pine Walker, considering he has 5 mana left up. It's one of the... Yeah, he has a Pine Walker. He also has... I think that it's more... It's probably...
Yep.
Yeah.
So the Jessica student currently a 3/5. So given it can probably tussle fairly well if it gains just a single counter.
Because the Glacier Slocket died, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it did.
earlier. So yeah, then it's probably the Pine
Or
Walker.
perhaps he's going to make a 4/10. Yeah. So here we go. A 4/10 Mastodon Elephant. So that's 6/7. So not looking so impressive from earlier right now.
Yeah, that must be a Pine Walker if he's doing that block.
Yeah, but
Aha!
yeah. So pay 5 mana, fog you. So how much mana does Anders actually have available? That was
I think 6 mana.
yeah. So he can't
Yeah,
play.
he played the Armored Corpse.
Yeah. So if he draws an untapped source next turn, he could play Siege Rhino as well as Dragon Bell Monk, and then play Shamanic Revelation next turn, draw 5 cards, and I think that should spell the end of this game for Simon. So playing a 2/2, not that impressive, even though it's currently a 3/2 with first strike. It's so another elephant. Unfortunately, he can't hardcast that right
Right, he
now.
draws 5 cards if he does Shamanic Revelation.
Yeah, so he could morph the elephant as well as play the Dragon Bell Monk, or he could play the Siege Rhino in this case. I think I prefer just playing the playing out both of the creatures. It uses up your mana more efficiently, and the Siege Rhino doesn't really tussle that well with a 5/5 on the other side. So
What was the morph?
it was a Loxodon, a woolly Loxodon. So again the elephant 6/7 that we saw on Simon's side earlier, which this enables fairly decent amount of plays from next turn. So Anders could just draw 5 cards and gain a whole ton of life. So let's see, that's three creatures, so gain 12 life and draw 5 cards. That seems a decent. Yeah, there we see Shamanic Revelation. Not actually a great card in limited. It tends to be kind of slow and clunky, but in a situation like this where the board has stalled out and you just have huge amounts of power and toughness staring down each other, it can definitely be the thing needed to break down the wall.
Yeah, it's a good like mirror stall breaker.
Yeah,
it's well, if you draw 5 cards, that's even better than Treasure Goods.
Yeah, interestingly enough, it tends to not be that great in the ferocious oriented decks. So draw 5 cards, gain 12. So Sphinx Revelation, anyone?
Game 2?
Yeah.
Question mark. Well, it only costs 5 mana. So
No, yeah, sorry. So Shamanic Revelation making its impact here.
Yeah.
Again, not one of the strongest cards because it's very situational. But even situational cards have places where they shine, and this is certainly it for Shamanic Revelation. So we're gonna see a response here.
He only has
Smite the Monstrous, it seems. Yeah, so he takes out the elephant.
So he only gets to draw 4 cards.
Yes.
Aw, only get 8 life.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, raw card advantage is definitely powerful. Armored Core is a 4/4.
Yeah, so get 8.
Yeah. So that's an Absent Charm, as well as, I believe, a Tuskguard Captain.
Yeah, and a land as well. Has he played a land this turn?
Yes, he definitely has. Last turn he played. You tapped out for 6 mana. So I think that Pine Walker is going to eat Absent Charm next turn to enable attacks from underside.
Yeah, he can pretty much win with the team.
Yeah,
and unmorph.
Yes.
So it looks pretty good for him.
Well,
Did he pick up a Treasure Cruise? Is he looking at this, the graveyard?
Does he have blue mana though?
That's
a Palace Siege. So we can bring back the elephant. Is probably the best play.
Draining, but I think
I think
you'd rather have the reanimate. Or bring back thingy. Not reanimate, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the reanimation is probably stronger here.
Does it cost 5?
It costs 5.
Oh.
And also double black. I think it's significantly worse. Oh, so he does choose dragons. So he's gonna go for the draining plan and hope to bring down Anders' healthy leftover from 28 to well, it's gonna take a few turns.
Well, what does he have in hand? Like a land and what more?
It wasn't a Treasure Cruise because I played the Palace Siege.
No. What more does he have in hand?
I do not know.
I think he has like a land. Did he judge the Palace Siege now?
Yes.
Yeah, then he only has 2 lands, I think.
Oh. Yeah, so not looking great here, Simon playing the grindiest of spells when he's just about to take massive amounts of damage from Anders' board. Obviously, he doesn't know about the Absent Charm, but
It's
when you're
still looking good bad for him.
I mean, he's at 9 life. Here we go, double prowess trigger.
I mean,
So he doesn't really have any.
how do you get back from this?
Yeah. The Dragonbell monk can't attack through the battle brawler, but I think you're okay with letting that get eaten, in order to get through the rest of the damage. So Siege Rhino, interestingly enough, the drain for 3 might just be lethal.
Yeah.
Or rather, usually the 4/5 body is much more stronger than the direct damage in limited.
Yeah, I see him hitting for 6 here.
Yeah.
And then then Siege Rhino locking it up.
Also noteworthy that the interaction between Absent Charm and the Siege, in this case, he did not choose Con, so he couldn't bring back the Pinewalker if he wanted to. But exiling does mean that Pinewalker would not be coming back. So awkward blocks here for Simon. Double block on the armament, Corey says. Does he have anything on hand? Because any prowess trigger would mean that he only traded one of those cards. Otherwise, he's accepting the 2-for-1 and gaining no life.
Yeah.
So he only attacked with those 2 cards. He did not attack with the Dragonbell monk.
Does he have any mass removal? I don't think he does. No, I don't see any mass removal.
No.
Yeah, I think this maybe if it also no, he doesn't have blue mana.
Yeah, so Anders is had in life total, card advantage on board as well as cards in hand, and the quality of the cards he has in hand is also quite significantly above Simon's.
Did he miss the trigger? No.
No, they didn't. He went back up to 7. But that's still a very long way from.
Yeah, even if he plays a creature here, I don't see him surviving because Siege Rhino does 3 damage.
Yeah. Hooting Mandrills. Leaving up 3 mana, interestingly enough. This is a play we saw from Poyanovari earlier in the day, representing Sandblast or possibly Absent Charm. I think if you're Anders, you just don't respect that bluff right now.
Yeah, I think you just hit with everything.
Yeah.
You have a Siege Rhino next turn even.
Yeah. If you had either the Absent Charm, Sandblast, or the Hooting Mandrills last turn, you would have played them that turn. So
yeah, I think so as well.
I think you can safely assume that the 4/4 was drawn this turn and played, so it's merely a bluff. Right, so block on the Dragonbell monk. I think Anders is just fine passing priority here. I mean, he could flip up his morph.
What's the morph?
It's a 6/7 Woolly Loxodon, so that would be lethal. But he goes for the Siege Rhino instead. All right, so that's 1-0 for Anders against Simon Jansson. Reveals his Woolly Loxodon. So, well, what did you think about the matchup?
I don't know. I don't think. I think the Palace. I don't know really.
Yeah, the Palace Siege is a strong card, but really only in grinding matchups.
Not in that situation.
No.
I think Simon he didn't. I don't know. I just think he didn't get outplayed. He just got. His opponent had better deck.
Yeah, he curved out, and then once he had filled out, or rather emptied most of his hand, except for, interestingly enough, a Siege Rhino, he got to refill it, as well as gain 8 life. So quite a powerful combination there from Anders Gotfredsen. Yeah. So looking towards the sideboard here, what do you think we can expect to see from these players? I see that Anders has an erase in his sideboard, but I really don't think he.
Yeah, I don't think he really cares about this.
No, he already showed the weakness of the Black Siege in that if you just put up sufficiently large threats, which he does have a whole deck full of elephants and rhinos, the Siege doesn't really do a whole lot.
Simon has a Force Away, which could come in if he wants to.
Yeah. Interestingly, I see that Anders has access to a Throttle in his sideboard, which isn't playing.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, it is slightly strange. Usually, Throttle is one of the, well, not quite premium, but still a removal spell that you should be quite happy playing. So I could see him bring that in. I find it interesting that he opted to play Smite the Monstrous over Throttle, but Smite the Monstrous does deal with a lot of bombs. So there's definitely an argument to be made there.
We didn't see a a shaman from Anders' side?
No.
No, so the Abyssin advantage won't come in.
No, I don't think so.
I feel sad for Simon. His pool has like 4 unplayable rares.
Oh, yeah, that's
Crucible,
unfortunate.
Rally Ancestors.
Really, I tend to think that there's too large of a focus on rares in Seal deck. If you're a proficient enough player and just are able to utilize a good curve and cast spells with power and toughness, you can win a lot of games of Magic. But still, the power of the rares in Fated Forge is not to be ignored. So we see here the players shuffling up for game 2, and I don't really see him bringing in the Throttle. Usually that's the card you would like against cards that are otherwise hard to interact with, such as perhaps the Swarm of Bloodflies we saw dominate the board in the game earlier between Poya and Joachim, or perhaps the Mystic of the Hidden Way. So I see here that he's also playing an Elite Scale Guard, which we did not see in game 1.
His Scale Guard being a really, really, really good card.
Yes, as we previously mentioned, the Channel Fireball rated all of the rares in the in the set about whether or not you would pick them over Elite Scale Guard. Which I think
it's an uncommon, right?
It's an uncommon. So and it reads like a rare.
I read had what's the other Scale Guard?
There's
the one of bolsters at the end of the turn.
Precisely, I think the Scale Guard is significantly better.
They should change. I think the Scale Guard is almost better.
Probably, but then again, Magic design is not my forte. So we see 7 keep here, and Anders looks at his 7. It looks like a keep. See lands and spells, yeah. So Simon with the blue mana that he lacked for the entire last game.
What was it? They played 3 sources.
Yeah, just three tapped sources, which sounds fine.
He plays 2 cards. I think he played.
Two cards, and as well as a morph. Morphing your off-color splash is.
It's fine.
Yeah, it basically means that your cards will never get stuck in your hand.
Here's a cloud from me not playing it.
Oh yeah. If he doesn't have enough support,
blue,
it's double blue. If you don't have enough support, I mean, it's still just a 2/2 flyer. I mean, there's no reason to splash for a card like that. Even still, it's just good on curve, and that's not the kinds of cards you splash. You splash for removal, you splash for bombs, and cards and large card advantage spells such as Treasure Cruise, which we see Simon splashing for in this case.
Yeah. You see another tap land in front with his hand.
Yeah, and
he seems to have 3 lands in his hand and just not that much more.
Yeah. So Tuskguard Captain on turn 3 from Anders. One of the more common plays here when you have either the Tuskguard Captain or the Absyn Falconer is to play them first on turn 3, so that you can on the 4th turn both outlast them as well as play a morph.
Because they only cost 1 mana.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So I can't quite see the grip of cards he has. I believe that's either a Sultral Patrol in the back or perhaps a... Alright, so Sultai Flare, quite an efficient package of power and toughness, as well as incidental life gain at 3/4/4/4.
You see an Absent Charm as well in Anders' hand.
Yeah, and Simon seems to be flooding out. I mean, I think also hard cast a 5/4 on turn 5.
I think it's a Throttle in his hand.
Yeah,
that's a Throttle.
Oh yeah, so we did bring in that Throttle. That's an interesting choice. Obviously, you can still use it in conjunction with combat to win such... For instance, we saw both players playing huge power and toughness creatures in 5/5s and 6/7s, and Throttle does mean that your creature wins those combats. It's an interesting choice, to be sure. It could also be that Anders thinks that over the course of the day, his decision to not include Throttle in his main deck was a mistake. We see quite a lot of experienced players still making slight justifications of their deck, or not justifications, but just small changes over the course of the day as they realize how the games play out and how their curve looks.
And Simon picks up another land.
Yeah, so flooding quite hard here, it seems.
He was stuck last game and now he's flooding.
Yeah.
That's the rules of Magic.
Unfortunately, part of the game. So Simon, not really the place he wants to be when he's playing for top 8 and is down a game. So
Oh, what is it playing?
6 mana, and there's a River Wheel Aerialist, one of the 3 blue cards he's splashing. So definitely a large flyer on this board. So I think that was a soul summon, so that doesn't really do a whole lot on this board for Anders. But just Absent Charm on the flyer.
Does he have access to black mana? Is that a jungle hall? I can't quite see.
I don't think it's a jungle hall, really. Maybe it is. I think it's...
I don't think he has a jungle hollow. I just think he just has Blossoming Sands.
Yeah, that is the Blossoming Sands.
Yeah, so he doesn't have access to black mana right now. Otherwise, he would certainly be exciting that 4/5 and getting in for a bunch of damage.
Yeah, or the 5/4 the turn earlier.
Precisely. So double Outlast here, growing up his creatures, so they're able to touch Syl with the Crew Shock, as well as incidentally giving them trample off the Oh, and also, interestingly, the Tuskar Captain does now have 4 toughness, so if it should die, then it should give a healthy pad to Anders' life total here. So I think that was an Absent Guide in Simon's hand. Can he cast though? That's probably a jungle huddle on his side. So he could
he had one in hand, I think.
Yeah, so he can just hard cast the 4/4 Lifelinker, which is good, but not overly impressive on this board. It doesn't really tussle that well with Anders' board. But still, Anders is at 7 right now, so...
This is looking pretty good for
Simon just haymaker plays after haymaker plays, really taking advantage of the fact that Anders doesn't really have any ways to put on early pressure.
He doesn't have any black mana.
No.
So he can't Absent Charm or Throttle, which are both really good in removals currently.
Yeah. Throttle, awkwardly enough, does not kill the River Wheel Aerialist, but it's very good against the other two.
Well, it kills the Absent Charm and Absent Guide and the other one. So what does it play?
I think that's a Hunt the Weak in his hand. So he's going to Hunt the Weak on the Absent Guide, giving it trample. Interestingly, he could have opted to kill one of his own creatures in order to gain the life, to gain himself an extra draw step from the Aerialist to find the black mana. Usually that's not a player that happy to make, but in this case I could see an argument for it, because that River Wheel Aerialist will kill you in 2 turns if left unchecked.
Yeah, I would actually start being concerned about that.
Yeah, and since Simon also got a life total boost from the Absent Guide with the fight with the Hunt the Weak, I don't think the race is really going to work out in Anders' favor here, so he might have to sacrifice a bit of card advantage in order to try to find.
Well, if he draws the black mana on top, then he's
absolutely. But
he might be in a good position, but we don't. Simon, he doesn't know Simon has a feat.
No, but even still, you can play around the feat in this
I think
situation.
You just have to do it.
Yes, and even then, that's assuming that Anders does have an untapped black source on the top of his deck. He's only playing 4 swamps, so the odds of that aren't really great in his favor.
He doesn't have a fetch either.
No, I don't believe so. So
what is he playing?
4 mana.
This is not a morph.
It's a Smite the Monstrous.
Then
Giving.
It's over. Oh wait, he got 4 life.
No, he got 4 life. So it's not. It doesn't really change the race that much.
Well, yeah, it does, because he couldn't attack with his ground creature.
Yeah, but still, is still dead in the air with the same amount of turns. It doesn't change the clock, and that is an untapped swamp. So Anders, right? So right off the top here. So start out with the soul summons, and we'll see. That was a creature. I believe that was a Siege Rhino.
Yeah, it was at least an Absent card.
Yeah. So if it was an Absent Guide, that's actually better than a Siege Rhino.
An Absent card.
Yeah.
So it might be. Does he have a guide?
Let's see. I don't believe he does. No, he doesn't. So I think that was the Siege Rhino. So awkwardly enough, he couldn't really use the life total boost here, but that's not going to be available.
Either the Siege Rhino or the Ornament Corpse, I think.
Yeah.
And if it's a Siege Rhino, that's really good.
Yeah, that's better. Awkwardly enough, both of those are cards that you'd rather have enter play rather than get manifested, but still...
they don't get effect if you...
flip them up, unfortunately. But still, Anders has stabilized for 1... So if he can survive this turn, we're not really sure what Simon has in hand right now. So that's a Teamer Sabertooth. That is obviously a very impressive card, but doesn't really punch through the damage needs right now. Oh, Sandstep Outcasts.
Well,
I think that might get...
but he has a throttle.
Yeah, using your 5-mana removal spell on a 0-mana token isn't really where you want to be.
I don't still not see what a soul
No.
is.
So
There's
another...
another black mana.
Yeah,
So he's gonna throttle a 1/1.
yeah. I think he's gonna...
I think he has to.
well,
He-
obviously
he
he's
has to.
Yeah, he's dead on board otherwise. Also, he no longer has access to the Soul Slayer, the Sulta Slayer. So he can't really... Otherwise, he could try to get some sort of... Typhoid Rats.
All right here.
Yep. Definitely. So he might just stabilize here. Throttle on the 1/1 flyer. There we go. And no answer. I believe that's the last one.
The thumbs up.
Yep.
Well, you play.
Yeah.
Do you outlast? I don't think you.
No, absolutely.
No.
Absolutely not. Your opponent has 3 card or
Yeah,
three
if he has
attackers.
removal, you're dead.
Yeah. Wait. Did he? Didn't he play the Teamer Sabretooth that last turn?
No,
Or was I
didn't
mistaken?
the Sabretooth die last game?
No, I mean the Sabretooth. So how? I thought he played it last turn. I must have been mistaken. Because the Sabretooth can bounce the Soundstep Outcast and replay it, not this turn, but the next turn, and keep making 1/1 flyers. And until Anders either pads his life total or finds a flyer, though each of those cards are going to be lethal.
This is
So Simon might
this has been a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
Very interesting considering Simon's first play was a vanilla creature on turn 5. So
Yeah, actually, yeah, it was.
yeah, so I think considering the flood, he's
Bouncing it now though.
yeah, he wants to make sure that it doesn't die to double removal spell, I believe.
Well,
I'm not sure if he had double green mana available.
yeah, I think he does.
So Anders not looking so happy with the situation right now.
Well, it looks pretty bad for him.
Yeah. And his opponent is also at a healthy 25, so it's really hard to raise. That was some sort of spell in his hand. I couldn't quite see what it was. Yeah, it was definitely a white spell. It could have been the end hostilities, which awkwardly enough doesn't really do anything on this board because it will leave your opponent with a Teamer Sabretooth and a Sandstep Outcast in hand. So what usually is the best stabilization play in the format after probably
Drugs.
Doom Blast, I was gonna say.
Doom Blast is good.
Yes.
Have you seen a Doom Blast today?
Poya had one in his deck earlier, but it never showed up in any of the games. So
The Outcast in hand.
Yeah.
The road to victory. I think that is.
Yeah.
Actually. What else does he have? He has one more card. Is it still? No, he has 2 cards. The Glacier Stalker as well.
yeah. So
And Hate Play, I think it is.
Is he playing any of the hate plates?
Yeah, I think he has. White. This is Fate Reforged.
yes, he is playing a Mardu Hate Blade, which is pretty good in this matchup. We've already seen the Rats doing a lot of work during the course of this tournament. So, right, so there's the Glacial Stalker morphed.
Simon looking great.
Is that the first morph play? Oh, so it wasn't an Absent card. It was actually an Absent. Well, technically, I believe it's an Absent card, but it's not Absent colors.
It's
so
the if
Absent
you-
Beastmaster. So at the beginning of his upkeep, he gets to draw an extra card. Oh, so Shamanic Revelation.
He can get life out of it.
He can get life out of that. So he currently only has 1 4-power creature, though. Does he have enough mana to both outlast? Yes, he does. So he can outlast the... No, wait. That's an Elite Scale Guard in his hand, as well as a Reach of Shadows. So he's got a powerful grip of spells. He just needs
So
to...
Reach of Shadows not a revelation? Or is it
No,
revelation as well?
I think it was both. I think it drew a Revelation. I think the card he drew last turn was Scale Guard, and I think right now he has a Revelation as well as the...
Yeah, that's a revelation.
Yeah, so I think it's gonna outlast. Yeah, here we go, and then Shamanic Revelation, gaining 8 life, going back up to 9.
And drawing some cards.
Yes. So he might just get the boost he needs here, because Simon doesn't really have that great attacks.
Yeah, that 1/1 is not lethal anymore, and he has
No.
a rat as well as a
Yeah, the 2/1 obviously not
probably-
spectacular on
probably
this
not
board,
gonna
but
block, but
yeah.
the rat is trades up.
yeah. Did he play land this turn?
Does he have lethal on board?
Simon,
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
really?
Well, if no blocks, of course, but
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, but he has to
there's
choose
there's
that.
gonna be blocks on the underside.
yeah.
So let's see. He blocks probably the rat on the saber-tooth, the morph, so he can punch through. What's that last card?
You say
It's
he's
it a
gonna
Mardic
block the saber-tooth with the rat?
Well,
Yeah, yeah,
if he
kinda.
swings with everything, the Team Sabertooth is getting blocked by something.
Yeah.
Because it's 4 power. So
Is that 4 for you, right?
yeah, it is. So perfectly fine.
Also one of
stats for
those
4 mana.
uncommon rares.
Yeah,
They're
I
such
think
a good card.
yeah, I think it's slightly worse than obviously it's worse than Elite Scale Guard, but I think it's slightly worse than Mistfire Adept, which we've seen on in quite a few Jeskai decks over the course of the day.
Yeah, it's still pretty good. You can,
Absolutely,
you can bounce if
absolutely.
you manifest a spell. You can bounce.
Given enough mana, it makes your entire board removal proof, which is a fantastic effect to have access to.
Is
So
there- is there
yeah,
a-
that's a CDN resin. So Simon also having
having
access.
Ferocity as well, right?
Yes, he does.
So he gets to
in
watch
in
it.
in both the Sabertooth as well as being able to flip up the morph and doing the same. But right now, so Anders is tapped out, so it doesn't really have to be afraid of any sort of interaction.
Well, I don't know if he has any. He doesn't have any Siege Rhinos or anything weird, really. He doesn't have that many in battlefield effects, but
No.
he still have big creatures, which is.
Yeah, so attack with everything, says Simon. Which is a strong play here, because he can make sure that nothing on his side dies with the Temur Sabertooth, as well as probably decimating Anders' board and getting through some at least a few points of damage. So I really like this play here. Anders with a full grip of powerful cards and really plenty of mana, but no time to use them, even though he drew the very important Shamanic Revelation last turn. So here we go, fairly conservative blocks.
He's taking 4. Is the Cedar written is instant, right?
No, it's a sorcery.
It's a sorcery.
Yeah. So he can flip the morph here, eat the Abzan Beastmaster, as well as bounce the Crew Shock if he'd like to. He could also just, seeing as how Anders still has no flyers on his side, he could just bounce the Sandstep Outcast after damage and replay it to get another flyer.
Well, won't he die on the Outlast? And maybe it's 0 power. Is it 0 power?
Which one?
The green, the ones that give had trample, I think.
Oh no, it's a 4. But if yeah,
Yeah,
so
so
you
he
have
has to
to
do it
bounce.
before them.
You have to bounce it right now. So he bounces the Crew Shock, absolutely. Make sure it doesn't trade for the rats. Basically, just not trading cards here, just making sure that damage goes through. And he doesn't seem to be interested in eating the Beastmaster.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna play Seed on return. And just get so ahead of board, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, it's still a gamble. I mean, 8 cards deep is very deep, but I've seen very many players resolve that card and not doing anything
see.
really impressive with it.
Roll the wheel.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
he's going to find something. The question is it worth 6 mana in the setup?
Is it revealed? No, he only sees it.
I believe only he sees it. But,
Hopefully he shows it to camera.
oh, there we go.
Oh.
So, Gurmag
Hiding
Angler.
Walker as well.
Yeah, so Gurmag Angler as well as a Woolly Loxodon is probably going to be... Alright, so yeah, so Pine Walker with the occasional upside.
I think that is a treasure cruise, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a treasure cruise, but it's not going to get played here. So Pine Walker and Gurmag Angler, the same stats here. Oh, so he could actually play the Hooded Assassin and
kill the
Tuskguard Captain. I actually think that's the superior play.
That is a better play. Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, the Hooded Assassin, not really a spectacular card by any means, but it's...
Well, it's a Doomblade now.
Yeah, yeah. awkward half of the 6 mana spell, but still, that's still a very powerful
Well,
turn.
you still
Yeah,
you
and
still want
Anders
cost with it.
really wants that. So there's a Siege Rhino, and I still think he really wants that End Hostilities right now.
I think does he have End Hostilities?
He has one End Hostilities in his deck. I don't believe he has it in hand though. And even then, if he played it, I don't think he has another play to follow up
Well,
afterwards.
I still think he played because the Sabertooth will still die.
Yeah, absolutely, because Simon is tapped out right now. But you need to.
Yeah, this looks like we're going for game 3.
Yeah,
That's
most
a
likely.
Smite, right?
Yeah, that's a Smite. So we're gonna see a Smite and probably a Siege Rhino as well.
So he has to. Well, he has the rats to take out the locks of them.
Yeah.
He takes. He might actually stabilize.
Yeah. He's still alive. Definitely, he's not dead on board. Let's see. So there's he can take 3 damage, right? Yes. Yeah. So he takes 2 from the Step Outcast and 1 from the flyer if Simon attacks with everything.
What is that? Was that a Smite as well?
No,
that's a War Behemoth, right?
Feral Crucial is in the front of his hand at least.
Yeah, okay.
I can't quite tell what the middle card is.
Hate Blade, and the last one is maybe a land?
Yeah, probably. So, yeah, can't quite tell. But still, Anders is really showing an incredible attitude towards not accepting his defeat here. I mean, he's still very much in this game, even though he's been facing down lethal attacks for quite a few turns. So, really impressive plays here. Alright, so he just goes in with a 1/1 flyer. And then plays 5 mana for the Feral Crucial again. And 3 mana spell for... Oh, yeah, so that's a Frontier Mastodon, I believe. The 3/2 with Ferocious gains another +1/+1 counter.
Well, he used Getting Gas.
Yeah, so land off the top. Is that a Hunt the Week? I believe that's a Hunt the Week.
White? What's the white card?
Elite Scale Guard, I believe.
Well, Elite Scale is alright, or
I
he
mean,
wants to get rat killed.
Elite Scale Guard is so it's a Rotting Mastodon. That's actually very good on this board. He's still facing down that 1/1 in the air, but he has 5 more turns to find an answer, and if he can find his End Hostilities, he's just gonna play it and then fill the board with his fairly powerful creatures. So Simon's still figuring out his attacks.
Combat Mass.
Yeah.
He just might swing with the team.
Yeah. That's the decision he comes to as well. Anders doesn't...
I think Anders is dead if he doesn't have an answer, maybe?
I didn't check the math. Let's see. So he blocks the Crew Shock as well.
No, he has 4 blockers now.
Yeah. And then he takes 2. No, he's still taking... Oh, so the Mastodon goes unblocked as well as the Hooded Assassin and the... So that's still lethal. Alright, so that's 4 unblocked damage, and 1, 2 Hooded Assassin.
He has a Reach for Shadows, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the flyer. Yeah, that's... all of a sudden he's once again stable at 1 life. Yeah, really tight place here from Anders. Oh, sorry, 2 life. Yeah, must have miscounted. So really tight place here. Keep making sure to look towards that victory. And now filling the all of a sudden Simon's board looks like it's been playing for 4 turns rather than 15.
Yeah, the players are pretty close to actually time.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they won't get to go to time, because that will be a
It
heartbreaker.
it would be very unfortunate if these 2 players, which are the only ones
Yeah.
who could not intentionally draw, would get an unintentional draw. So yeah, Anders needs to make sure he actually wins the game as well. So yeah, there's the Elite Scale Guard.
Yeah, at least game out.
Which will bolster on itself, because the rest of the board he has is so massive.
They need to play a lot quicker.
I believe so.
Yeah.
But
Simon has to finish it now, and yeah.
Yeah, and he's definitely realizing. So playing the Elite Skill Guard enables him to tap down the 1/1.
What does he have in hand? Is it Hunt Week?
Couldn't
Does he
quite
play
see.
Hunt Week?
So double Einok Guide. So Einok Guide 2/2, but interestingly enough, it comes into play with a +1/+1 counter, which means that once they attack due to the Elect Scale Guard next turn, they will tap down the entire opposing team. Is that lethal on board for Anders?
4, 5, 4, 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10, 12.
Yeah,
14.
16. So
18 it is, actually.
Yeah, so Anders does have lethal on board thanks to those fairly mediocre 2-drops. And so let's see. So yeah, that's all right. So another blocker comes down for Simon. So he can't quite get through for lethal right now.
Yeah, it's 18.
Yeah.
Well, he can tap down 4 creatures.
For creatures, but then
depends what his draws is.
He's still dead on the swing back, I believe.
Not if he has a removal.
No, I believe it was a land though. I believe it.
He has drawn.
He
I was busy making math.
Yeah, he drew his card from the turn. I believe it was a non-card.
No, but the biggest creature is he can do 12. I know he has 10. This is 18.
Yeah.
So the biggest guy is 4, right?
Oh, yeah. So
that's
he's
14.
coming to the
That's
same
14.
conclusion.
That's 14. I think he's dead.
Yeah. All right. So he taps down.
Yeah. You tap down the smallest one, so Citrino is still big.
Yeah, Citrino. Also, Citrino
he's not
has trample.
Yeah, so he's
but,
not going to get blocked.
Yeah, they're doing the combat math right now. So Anders Gotfredsen grinding it out for a spectacular amount of turns. Really impressive play here.
That was amazing.
That was really an amazing play, or rather an amazing game. I usually when you look at these kinds of games and these kind of comebacks, there's usually some sort of sweeper involved, and Anders has one in his deck but did not draw it and did not play it, but still managed to face down lethal attacks multiple turns in a row and still go through with the.
I want to get Anders in here if I can.
Absolutely,
because that was an amazing play.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to him?
No, I can step out for a while.
Okay.
So we'll be back in just a few minutes, and we'll let the players shuffle up and get back into.
Yeah, can you check which people are in top 8? So
Absolutely.
Well,
right.
We'll go to a short
Yeah, absolutely.
pause. I will go and get Anders if I can.
Yeah, we'll be back in a few.